Welcome, welcome everyone to Tuesday Tales. I am joined today by Rebecca Russell. I am Helen Harwood Snell, and I go live every Tuesday at this time at 5 p.m. EST to show you the alchemy for your business through communication and storytelling. And it's always my honor to introduce a guest, have them tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we come up with a business story that they can use at the end of the conversation. So, Rebecca, I have known you for 3 years, I think, maybe, because we co-authored in a book together. But I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. And I love to throw people off a little bit by saying, tell me who you are outside of work first.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the opportunity. And who am I? I am a rule follower as long as the rules make sense and are fair. Then you get the contrarian, rebellious side of me that will not be that good girl. So a lot of people, the word nice gets batted around, but if I see unfairness, injustice, then you're going to see something not so nice. So
I'd say that we probably hold that in common. I know your personality code that you were kind enough to fill out for me. Your first personality code was nurture, and your second was knowledge. That's the same with me. And so I think there is that, that sweet girl that comes out very naturally. But then, if I find out some information that I can't trust you anymore, you're in trouble, right? Yeah. And that's common with a lot of people who have that really nice exterior. We need to feel like we can trust people, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's really important. So what do you do for fun? What do you do for activities? Are you into theater, athleticism, dogs?
I was a bit of a jock in my 40s. I was in the best physical shape of my life in my 40s.
Good for you.
And I was a pretty fierce racquetball player, played ice hockey with my husband on a rec league, and it was so much fun. But several surgeries later and some other things, not so much. And I miss that part of me. And I had recently started pickleball, and you would not believe how good that felt to even just be wearing gym clothes and carrying a gym bag. It was like, I'm back. It's me again. A different version, but it felt so good. So
that's so good to hear. That's tough. Injuries can be so hard on us because, and I'm sure you realize the older you get, the harder it is to heal as well, right? So I'll give you another tip. A really great sport to become involved in, this is something I do, is CrossFit. And a lot of people look at that and think it's like highly competitive and there's all these people, lifting weights and doing all this crazy stuff, but it's so scalable. I have really bad knees because I butchered my knees playing baseball many years ago. Everything is scalable and you can do it at your pace. And something that's so important, especially for women as we age, is to actually lift weights, because when you build muscle, it's so much better for your longevity. So that has been my go-to to keep me connected and feeling like I've still got some athleticism left in me. Okay. So that's a tip for you if you're tired of pickleball at all. But I hear that's all the rage. I've not tried it, but I know it's growing even in Canada. I don't think it's got quite the following here as you guys do in the United States. It's certainly growing here too. So that's fun. So tell me 3 things that are important to you in life.
Making a difference, spreading the message that your genes do not have to define you, and we're all connected. We all matter.
Love that. Let's talk about your genes. Fill me in a little bit more on that.
Well, it's what got me into the holistic approach to health. Back when I was around 35, I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and I had thought I'd done all the right things to prevent it. Because it's in my family. So I was not overweight. I was active. I never smoked. I didn't drink hardly at all. The missing piece was nutrition, but I didn't, overindulge that much. And so I was shocked that I ended up with that diagnosis that young, because the other women in my family, the older ones, they didn't get that till 40. And here I am in better shape in 35. I didn't like the outcomes that they had with the traditional path of treating it. I didn't care for that. So I was in Dallas at the time. That's where we raised our family. It's a little more progressive there. And I started seeing a doctor of Oriental medicine, Dr. Iva, and she got my numbers back in normal range within 6 6 months. And it was all through quality supplements and some tweaks in lifestyle. And it just changed my life. And so I was able to get off. She also treated me for some other things. I was able to get off daily allergy medication, which was giving me migraines. And so I just was hooked on that path. And somehow I didn't know about essential oils back then, but just 9 years ago, I was introduced to the essential oils, and that up-leveled my already good health, because I am 66, not even close to being well, my numbers can go dip down into pre-diabetic range fairly easily, but I've never been diagnosed as diabetic or on any meds. So it can be done. My genes want me there, but I'm winning, and I want to share what I've done. Hopefully it'll help other people.
That's actually not the first time that I have heard of that, because I know, I think I even saw this in a documentary maybe on Netflix where they were talking about nutrition, and the path just seems to be more and more and more medication, right? Like
Yes.
there's not really a recovery. There's just,
Oh, no.
let's combat this condition and this side effect. And it just is a real downward spiral. So first of all, congratulations to you. That's amazing.
Thank
and
you.
now that's going to lead into, tell us about your business. You discovered essential oils. How did you come into that discovery?
Well, both careers I've had in my, elder years, God had to trick me into them. So apparently I'm not bright enough to figure it out myself, but the writing career in my 40s was pure destiny, or, fate, whatever, God thing. And I had signed up for a class at a community college called creative writing. And I got there, and it was not that. It was how to write a novel, which I never would have signed up for.
Oh, wow.
And all these things transpired and me ending up 10 years later being a published author with Harlequin Silhouette. And then with the wellness field, I was 58 years old, not looking for any other career. I was just working a job that I liked, helping other people build their dreams. And I found the essential oils, and they up-leveled my health. Then, because of my strengths, responsibility is my anchoring strength. That meant I could not just be a customer. I had to let other people know. Responsibility is my number 5 strength, which is your anchoring strength. I could not keep that to myself. Other people need to understand the power of natural solutions. So it went from there, and then ended up being a platform for my overall message of holistic health, how to make that a lifestyle, not treat symptoms, and be your own advocate when it comes to your health.
So can you share, I want to go back to your Harlequin romances, but can you share with me a few simple tips where people can actually use essential oils to up level their health? How can you use those holistically?
Well, the easiest and most, I guess, important thing is to limit the chemicals you put on and in your body. There's a term they use now called obesogenics, and it explains how these chemicals, toxins, whatever you want to call them, which includes medications, because they are not natural, they actually they harm your cells. And when you harm your cells, you are aging. So anything bath and body products, cleaning products, those plugins, any of those things where you are inhaling, putting on some sort of unnatural scent, that is aging you. So if you're going to the gym and you are eating right, and yet you're cleaning and with chemicals and you're putting all them on your body, you're sort of sabotaging yourself. And this includes your kids, your fur babies, the elderly. This is something we all need to understand, that it is harming us. And it's easy. You don't need a degree to make a room spray. So.
Oh, for sure. I know even simple things like myself today, I had just like a little cut, and I just went and put some tea tree oil on it. That's all you need. You don't need, the old days I would use polysporin or, whatever. There's a lot of simple remedies to things like that. So is that one of the things that you found that really elevated your health then, Rebecca, was actually kind of switching over to all of those naturalized cleaning products and shampoos and different things like that, bath and body care? That's what up-leveled your health, or were there some other specific things?
Because even though I was taking care of the blood sugar issue with quality supplements and lifestyle, I was still getting migraines.
Okay.
And I was also on a potentially addictive medication for sleep, because I have a racing brain and it would not shut off. And I tried everything, except I didn't know about the oils. But I tried valerian, and I tried, homeopathic things, and I tried even other medications. And that I only found one that worked. And I hated being on on it, but yet you need to sleep. And that's a trigger for
Yes.
migraines, not enough sleep. When I found that, what got me into the oils was I actually found a protocol that was able to replace the medication. So I now don't worry about falling asleep. It feels like a miracle to me, even though it's 9 years later. It's a wonderful feeling to not be tied to that and know that it's protecting my brain, not having that chemical every day. So that was huge. And then cleaning up my gut health with the quality supplements, with understanding nutrition better, because that was a missing piece for me. I sort of saw food as the enemy because that's what I saw happening to my family. The overeating, the emotional eating, the food addiction. They didn't know any way to stop that. It was not a thing back then to have therapy for anything like that. And so I went the other way and I didn't care about food, just not healthy. And so getting that relationship, that healthy relationship with food as fuel, and then also, just learning. I mean, gut health is huge to your overall health. So the healthier my gut got and chemicals stress your gut, then the migraine, I hardly ever have migraines anymore. It's just amazing.
It is amazing when as you said, you almost stumble into these things and you start to figure them out. I know even through understanding more about gut health myself, like I've realized how it impacts my thinking, like
Yes.
clarity of my thought process, not getting groggy in the afternoon, whatever that may be. We think of gut health and we think of, indigestion, going to the washroom properly, whatever, but your stomach is got so many connections to the rest of your body, right?
Absolutely.
And your brain is a big part of that, and that whole detox as well, for sure. I think that's a really interesting combination that you work with both nutrition and essential oils. Are there supplements that you also recommend when you're dealing with clients that you pair up with the essential oils to help with overall health?
Absolutely. In fact, another thing that impressed me so much about doTERRA, which is the brand that I use,
okay,
their Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is basically a multivitamin and minerals with the oils, a omega-3, and then a cell repair component. Those 3 bottles of supplements are the equivalent of what my doctor of Oriental Medicine had me on to get my numbers good. So I compared her very expensive and a lot of bottles, and I didn't understand what they did. I just knew they worked. When I found doTERRA and compared theirs to what I was taking, it was almost exact, but it was simplified. I could tell you exactly what each bottle does, and it was less expensive.
I didn't even know that was a component of doTERRA, Rebecca.
Yes.
I have to be honest. Yeah.
It's their number 1 product.
I didn't even know that. I think I'm starting to see a trend with that, with companies who have, researched and have understood the value of things like immunity and gut health. And well, those are the first 2 I can think off the top of my head because I'm not a nutrition specialist,
right.
But how that has actually changed kind of the focus of a lot of businesses. I mean, obviously doTERRA is still very, very well known for their essential oils and have very high quality essential oils. But the fact that their nutrition products have kind of become their number 1 product now, that's really interesting. And yeah, thanks for sharing that, because I wasn't even aware that they did have nutrition products there. So that's fantastic. How do you present your business to people then? Is it in terms of, I know we were just chatting before we went live today and you were telling me what a great day it was to meet people and talk to them about health and nutrition. Is that your general approach with people, is to have just a conversation? How are you feeling? How can I help? Is that your approach when you're dealing with clients?
Well, there's typically 3 types of people who are open to meeting with me, and as far as their health. And the one this morning, she's searching for her next thing, her purpose, she's very much into the holistic world. And we met and just our energy was, great. And we just wanted to continue the conversation. If I was not into the oils, I would probably be a life coach because I just love helping people figure those things out. And so we met and I recommended some books and gave her some homework, even though that's not part of my technical kind of job description. Of course, I mentioned the business opportunity with doTERRA because it's an amazing, but that was not the focus. It was, what brought you joy between the ages of 5 and 15? What would you do if you won the lottery and didn't have to work? Those get your brain thinking about those things. And that's emotional wellness to me. So holistic is all areas of wellness. So it does fit with what I do. as far as I'm concerned. And then the next person I met was someone I had met through networking. She wears many hats. She's a single mom. And she understands the value of quality products and a holistic approach. So she just needed some guidance on where do I start? How do I get off my meds in a safe manner and to try other solutions? I think the main thing is knowing you're not alone in trying to figure it all out. I'm not a health coach. I'm more of a wellness mentor. I've lived it and am living it for, over 30 some years. And I love to research and I love to learn. So I've seen and heard a lot. And if I don't know, I'll find out. When you become a customer of mine, one of the other perks is you are part of a family. You are part of a very active group that it's a community of like-minded people. So it's not just me you're getting recommendations from. It's another mom that has a 2-year-old like you do that uses I didn't know about the oils when my kids were little. I can look it up, but it's more impactful if it's a mom right now who is treating something with the oils with her 2-year-old. You have the sense of community, and you're not alone. We are all about education. It's not pushing product, it's education. We try to make it fun, and it's just wonderful.
That's so good. And I love that too. I think when people are educated, then they can make that sales decision themselves, right? And you don't need to be pushy
Oh
with
yeah.
sales. You
Mm-hmm.
need to connect, build that community, give them the education that they need. And we could use a lot more of that in a lot more places in our lives, if I may say so.
Yep.
So that's great. And I love the fact that you mentioned, when you're talking with people, you like to ask them what brought them joy when they were a child. Can I ask you that question?
I was the weirdo that was teaching school the day school was out. Is it any wonder I now educate?
Yeah, again, I think, as I mentioned earlier in the conversation, I think that goes so much with your nurture knowledge, right? Because often when we learn, especially as you said, your anchoring strength is this responsibility. So first of all, you want to learn because that's part of the core of your being, but then you also want to share. And because you have this nurturing side to you, teaching is the natural way to do it, right? In community, in a group. So that's beautiful. So I love that. I used to play school when I was a little kid too. down in our basement, and I was just thinking of this the other day. I should try this again, but I could actually write. We had a big blackboard down in the basement that we got from an old school or something somewhere back from an old one-room schoolhouse, and I could write with both hands on the blackboard. I was ambidextrous. I couldn't do it so well on paper, but if it was larger print, I could do it.
Oh wow.
I was just thinking of that the other day, and I thought, oh, I should try that again. I had a conversation with somebody about having like a pretty balanced left and right brain and how difficult that can sometimes be because you want to be, systems and process, and you also want to be creative. And that's what got me thinking about this whole ambidextrous thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to have to explore that. So I just actually shared a little story with you about my childhood. Do you have a story that you could share with me so that we can actually develop a business story out of that? It's one of the things I love to do here on Tuesday Tales. It doesn't have to be about your childhood. It can be a recent event, something that happened in your life, or something that's connected to your passion that you're involved with now. Is there something you can share?
Well, I think I'm the perfect example that it's never too late to start something new. I mean, I never intended to own a business at 58, ever. I never intended to write a book in my 40s, ever. And even then, it felt like I had started too late. I should have started sooner. And someone told me, honey, you need to live first to have something to write about. So, but yeah, I think when you, like with the writing, I thought I had so many ideas in my brain. I thought that's what I would do till I died because I loved it. I wrote sweet romances, very traditional. And I just loved being in that world. I loved, the research and just the community of other writers, especially mostly women, cheering for each other, even though we all wanted the same thing. And when I was only able to sell 2 books, it was evident that I was done. It was sort of hard to accept. But what I think the lesson was, I did not go to college. Always thought I would because I was the school, I was the student. And that was always like a monkey on my back. Like, you're really not as smart as you thought because you didn't go to college. And how do you expect to get published? You didn't go to college. So that, even though it wasn't a conscious thing, it was in the back of my mind. And it took me 10 years to get published. So I learned so many important lessons during that struggle. And I think the biggest takeaway was, now that monkey's off my back. I didn't need to sell 12 books to get rid of that. I just had to sell one. But I sold two. And with that off my back, I then switched to mysteries, thinking that might be something else, and that didn't work out. And then I was sort of trying to figure out where I fit in after, if I'm not a writer, what am I? And then I fell into the oils. So it's interesting that the skills I learned during the writing years and the trying to figure out who I was after that are the exact skills I need in my wellness business. So I was being prepared all along, did not understand that, but I am fearless about public speaking. I am fearless about organizing things. I am fearless about, all those skills, finding meeting places, finding speakers for things. I mean, I just learned so, and even in my part-time job as a admin for a mortgage lender, I learned about networking and I learned about marketing there.
Love that you are so aware of that, because I find often when I'm working with entrepreneurs, they don't understand that all of the experiences they've had in their lives is what makes them unique in how they show up in their business now. So I love that you are so aware of that and that you own those skills. I'm trying to build a story out of your story, but I think you've kind of already told the story. Normally people will say like, oh, I had this adventure camping or whatever, and then I turn that into a story. But I think you've already put it all together. But what I could share with you that I think maybe, might be helpful in your business, talking with people about nutrition and healing their bodies and, holistic living, is that it's actually never too late. You've had several careers, you've gone through health crises, you've gone through different businesses, you continue to learn and grow and change. At any time, people can step in and it's never too late. That's the message that I kind of got out of your story, is that it's never too late for people to change their health for better. And I think you would probably be able to speak to this, again, probably somewhat better than I can, but I have heard that we change over the cells in our bodies, some of them obviously quicker than others. I think our skin cells replenish like every week or something, but our organs replenish like maybe every 7 years. So if you think about that in those terms, you could be a new person in 7 years,
Absolutely.
right? If you're actually caring for your cells and caring for your whole body, emotionally and physically and everything else. So that's fantastic. This has been so much fun talking with you. And I think everything there that you just shared in your story about, you being fearless is so true. And I have experienced that through dealing with you in our book projects together and in knowing you through networking. And I love that you are standing tall in that and proud, and that you are not afraid to have started a business in your 60s and you're just doing something that brings you joy. Then it doesn't feel like work, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. It's all about putting your message out to the world, helping people, which is a big part of what you want to do. So congratulations to you for, being a published author, for, recreating yourself several times over, and for being the standout, fantastic woman that you are. I appreciate you being here so much with me today. And I want to wrap up because we are like 5:30 on the dot. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks to the audience. Those who are tuning in on the replay, give us a hello. Let me know how you might know Rebecca. Or if you would like to get to know Rebecca, you can find her on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, I know you are under Rebecca Russell. Instagram, your name is a little different, is it not?
It's the Rebecca Russell everywhere.
It's okay, there you go. Okay. I know when I was looking for you on Instagram, I had to find it a little differently when I did the search. So there you go. So look her up, see if she can help you with your holistic health needs. And Rebecca, I will let you go and say goodbye to the audience, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.